Down with comedians on hockey with your host Matt Stykowski, Eric Shevland, and guest Tom Galati.
Hello there.
And we're here to talk about a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk about trades. We're going to talk about game of the week. We're going to talk about an emergency backup goalie who came in and defeated just the best team he could beat in the whole league.
If you couldn't script it any better.
Any better.
Right.
Just the whole...
I know you don't want me to curse on this show,
Yes.
and you want it to be like nice and everything
holy
like that.
shit.
But
Well, it doesn't have to be.
can I curse and can I just be me?
Yes,
for
you
today?
could curse,
Oh,
yes. 'cause-
Fuck you, Leafs fans. Fuck you. Oh, this is so good. You fucking lost. You lost to a fucking Zamboni driver.
and their own Zamboni driver, no less.
He works for them.
It's their own Zamboni driver, which is even
Oh my god.
better.
It's like a Disney movie plot that you would be like, this is the dumbest fucking plot I've ever seen in my life. He's driving a goddamn Zamboni and he beats the fucking Toronto Maple Leafs. You'd never see that.
All right,
Oh my God.
we're gonna talk all about that because it's gonna be fantastic.
delicious.
I
again,
can figure out who would play him in the movie, like Paul Rudd, like
It would
someone
be
who's like
Tim the
a-
Toolman Taylor. It would be like, because he's like 30, he's like an old looking guy. Like
Yeah.
they
He's
said
42.
30.
He's
42.
42.
He looks like he's like 60.
no, he's
Right.
42 years old, and yeah, he beat
Some
just
beer leaguer.
just the best team in the league. He beat. I
Awesome.
love it.
He basically went up against $11 million in offense for the Toronto Maple Leafs and shut them down with his $500 salary.
So wonderful.
Oh, it's
Does
the
this
best thing
validate
ever.
Jean-Claude Van Damme? You're like, well, maybe he can be the goalie in a hockey team. Remember that dumb movie he was in? Or was it Sudden Death? It was on the other night. That came
Right.
to life.
Yes,
Came to life in Toronto.
exactly.
Yep. So there you go. So we're going to talk about all that today, which is fantastic. I think we're most excited about the backup goalie.
Oh,
That's such a great
So good.
story. Just to be a hockey fan and have that unfold is awesome.
And Brindamore's speech afterwards, like, wow, like
Yeah.
this, you just created a memory. And then the Canes are now doing something nice for him, which is great. They're selling his shirts. They've created like a shirt,
Merchandise.
merchandise for him that he's going to get a part of, but
Right.
also part of it is going to go to the Kidney Foundation because he got a kidney transplant 15 years ago.
That's
the best
awesome.
story in the
Yeah,
whole
it's
world.
amazing.
fantastic.
They
All
all
right.
they all put in some money out of their own pocket too.
Yes.
And the celebration in the locker room afterwards with the champagne, it was like they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. That
was the
which
best.
is awesome.
It was great. It was
Yeah.
great.
The funniest tweet I saw was, it said, what can top Alexander Ovechkin getting his 700th goal tonight? And then someone wrote, hold my Zamboni driver's beer.
Right. That was the best.
I can't even believe. And it just, I love it. I just love it. How much money the Leafs spent on 3 players.
Yeah.
Well, Tavares did score.
He did. Wow, look good for him. He scored on the Zamboni driver.
I don't want to go too far off topic, but it is fun watching the Leafs really start to pick up on what we saw. You know,
Right.
of course, we benefited from the good of Tavares.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you know his statuesque, like lifeless, emotionless. And I think the Leafs fans are starting to pick up on it.
He's
Oh,
just
the-
a total zombie.
He
Yeah.
was loved here, and if he stayed here, he would have been an Islander
been-
icon, and nobody would have cared about that.
Right.
They're already turning on him in
Right.
year 1.
Listen,
Right,
we can
which is
talk
crazy.
about
right.
this
Right. Oh, all right.
all summer long.
Yes, that's true. That's
When
true.
we have nothing
can.
else to
That-
talk
that
about.
is true.
Dry
Because then we have free agency to
Right.
talk about
Yeah.
after the Stanley
There's
Cup.
plenty.
so-
We have trade deadline. Whole ton of stuff happened.
right.
Game of the week that you're going to.
Game of the week. I'm going to Islanders versus Rangers tonight.
Oh, that's tonight.
Division rival. Yep, tonight I'm going. So the show's only going to be about 45 minutes today. I will be late to the game, so I'm sacrificing part of the game for this commitment.
For
You're a
future
martyr.
reference,
Yes.
anytime there's an
Yes.
Islander Ranger game, it's the game of the week. We don't
Yes.
have to. We shouldn't even have to bring it up. I think the NHL should shut down the NHL. There should be no other games.
Right.
When it's the Islander Ranger.
And
game
I love
that
how
night.
Ranger fans go to the Coliseum. They're like, "That's the only time you sell out." Yeah, it was when we were bad, but now it's not.
Right.
So what?
And it's the only time you get to go to a game because you
Right.
can't afford your own stadium.
Thanks for the money.
Right.
It's all suits down in the 200
Right.
section at
So
MSG.
thank you very much for supporting our Islanders, you rag fans.
Well,
anyway,
You know, we really went off the reservation as far as not being a homer today. We really
Yes.
are total homers today.
today is well.
You
We got
see,
an
anybody
Islander
else that's
jersey
not an
here.
Islander fan is already tuned out.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we got the Devils.
Sorry, come back
Blue
next week.
Jackets, Oilers, Bruins, Coyotes, Kings, USA.
We can't talk about the Peugeot trade now because we've gone too Islander heavy already. We have to
Okay,
save that for the end.
let's save that for the end. All right, so we're gonna go over. Let's go over the trades because the trades you called some. There was some unusual moves I thought as well. There was moves that I thought should have been made that weren't made. I
had no idea that there was going to be a car accident. So
no idea there was going to be
You
a
didn't,
car
you
accident.
didn't call that?
So
I couldn't
Gorgiev
call.
had right.
You know, I thought I would have said my lock was that Gorgiev was going to get traded.
Right.
Had no idea a car
Right.
accident was going to happen.
Yeah.
Should have. I mean, maybe you should prepare for that. You know, Russians. We see the videos on YouTube. They drop like
They
crazy
drive
people.
pretty
Right.
bad, yeah. So.
Well, I'm sure there was.
I
Probably
hope for the
some-
bad. I hope he's okay. I'm making a joke.
Yes, no. We hope we don't want to
Right.
wish anybody.
Wish him a quick, speedy
We
recovery.
wish
Of
the whole
course.
team misery. We just don't wish them injury.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
Right. We want the Rangers to fail miserably,
beings.
but nobody to get hurt.
Right.
Yeah. So he didn't. So Gorgiev didn't get traded. Although if I was Gorgiev, I would say at the end of the season, please trade me.
Right.
I'm sick of this circus.
Or do they trade Lundqvist?
He's making $8 million a year. He's his best days are behind him. Who wants him?
Right. Well, I think the
Seattle? Do they?
Right.
Are they holding on?
They
to
will
Seattle.
Well, he has a
Because
no-trade clause, I
The
think.
expansive
Right.
draft. The expansion draft is this summer, right?
I don't know.
So they
It's
have
the
to leave
summer. It might be
somebody
next summer. I
exposed.
think
Seattle,
it
right.
might be next summer.
Could be the reason Del Cole's still on the Islanders. Maybe he's being exposed for the expansion draft.
I still think there'll be better people exposed than Del Cole on the Islanders roster.
Ladd, he's going to be exposed. They're not going to take him.
Yeah, I don't
they
think
may
Ladd-
take him.
I didn't prepare for this conversation.
Okay,
but
all right.
I think that I don't know the exact rules about no trade clauses. You might not be able to get exposed if you have a no trade clause or a no move clause, which case Ladd would have to waive it in order to go to Seattle. At this point, I would think Ladd would waive it to go anywhere just so
Right.
he could stay relevant.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know if Henry Lundqvist might have a no trade clause still. I'm not sure how that works.
Okay.
He'd have to waive it. I don't know if he's going to waive it to go to Seattle. I don't think he's going to
But-
do that.
If the rumored name is true, I'd go.
That's a great name.
The Kraken.
I mean, look at me.
Right.
But
Unleash
We're
the
not-
Kraken.
we're not him.
No, but that would be a cool name.
Yeah, but he's used to being the darling of Manhattan.
But either way, he kind of has been slowly fizzling and becoming less relevant. I
He's
mean, a
getting
lot of my
old, I
friends that are
mean-
Ranger fans are kind of like, "Oh, I feel bad for the guy," and
I felt bad
You
for
know.
Richter when he didn't. They did the same thing to Richter. Richter was around. Not Richter. Van Beesbrook. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Van Beesbrook was around forever, and he was a nice guy, nice enough guy too. He wasn't a Ranger you hated. And then Richter comes in and wins the cup, and you're like, oh, you kind of feel bad for Van Beesbrook there. I think
Right.
at that point he was already in Florida or something. I don't
He
even know.
played for like the whole East Coast. He played for
played
like
for
that
the
whole
Rangers,
Eastern.
yeah.
He played for the
Right.
Islanders. He played for the Rangers. He played for the Flyers. He played for the
Devils.
Devils.
Yeah.
He just went all around that division.
yeah.
Well, he didn't want to sell his house.
I think
don't
he
blame
owns
him.
a bunch of. I think he owned a bunch of Roy Rogers in New Jersey or something. He's doing all right.
it's a pain in the ass
All
selling
right.
your house and moving.
You want to go over winners and losers of the trade, right?
Do you have any opinions on it?
Yeah, I do actually. The winners of the trade.
Give me one winner.
One winner, hands down, Carolina.
I agree.
Hands down, they did.
I
They
agree.
they did a great job. I think they gave up a ton, but they needed to. I'm surprised they didn't go for Leonard. I'm surprised they didn't go for Leonard.
I heard they called,
Okay, but they got Brady Shea from the Rangers.
which was incredible.
They got Sammy Vatanen from the Devils.
Who's hurt, but when he's not hurt, he's hurt a lot. If
Right.
he's not hurt, that's a weird trade. Usually you don't see injured people who are currently injured getting traded.
Right, unless they got the injury report and said he's only going to be out another week or so.
Yeah.
And then Trocheck from the Panthers.
I don't understand that trade from
So-
a Florida Panthers point of view. I would consider them a loser this whole trade.
Yep, Florida.
Deadline. I don't understand why you trade him unless I mean, I don't get it. I don't get
The
why
Rangers
you
got a
trade him.
what for Shea? A first rounder, right? Didn't
Yeah.
they get a first rounder?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good trade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a
For the
late
Canes.
first rounder.
For the Canes, it's a good trade.
I think it's a good trade for the Rangers too, because now they're stocking up. They're getting their picks.
Right. I mean, they're a young team. They're building something, and Shea he really hasn't done much for
They
them.
got a
You
good
know, he
coach.
hasn't lived
Quinn's
up
not
to
a bad
what,
coach.
You know.
To me, the Rangers said we're going to keep D'Angelo over you. Like they made that decision because you weren't going to be able to keep D'Angelo and Shea. Shea's already
Right.
making a lot of money.
Right.
Shea's not old. I think Shea's
No.
like 26,
Right.
25, 26. But I think that was the Rangers saying we'd rather keep D'Angelo, who needs a contract.
Right.
We'd rather give him your money, basically.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think Shea's going to be good there. I've always said that certain players don't handle New York well. Certain players handle New York very well. I think Shea is the kind of guy that's going to flourish elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people don't like if you remember back in the day, Luke Robitaille didn't handle New York
No.
being a
Right,
Ranger
right.
very
No.
well.
Right.
Some people disappear once they leave New York. Some
Right.
people become great once they leave New York. So
Right.
I think
That's a good
Shea's going
point.
to be good in Carolina.
Yeah.
I think that's a good trade for them. The Rangers, you get a first-round draft pick, yeah, that's great. But if you're going to spend $9 million on Panarin and you're going to, you do all this stuff, the Rangers can never have a rebuild. And they've
No,
been
they
winning.
never will. No.
And they've been winning right now. The
Yeah, they're
Rangers have
doing
won
well.
like 4 of the last 5 or something.
Yeah,
the
they're
Rangers
doing well.
very well.
Not
They're
as hot
on
as
a good
Vegas,
run.
but they're doing well.
So it's like you're going to signify that you're quitting after you've won 4 games in a row. I think they should have just stood pat, but they wanted. But I think they made a move that's good for the future. If you see D'Angelo in the future, which I like D'Angelo. D'Angelo is one of those guys that if he's on your team, you love him.
Right.
But if he's not on your team, you hate him. He's kind of
Right.
like a Kasperitis
Right.
kind of defenseman. So it was, it's a wash for the Rangers, but it's definitely a win for the
So
Canes.
Canes are winners.
Definitely.
Okay,
Especially the Trocheck.
Losers.
Well, what do you just going
me a
back to the
loser.
Rangers for a second?
Okay.
Do you
Yeah, go
think
ahead.
they overpaid for Kreider for 7 years and
I don't think so.
I
7
think
years. How
that's-
much? What was he?
40? Was it 49?
I think he's making $1 million a year less than he could have got if he hit unrestricted free agency. I think he gave them a hometown discount.
Right.
with
Right,
Kreider.
but then you have if he becomes the darling of the team, then you have he's going to make that up in sponsorships in a heartbeat.
Right.
And he's
team-
prob-
and they're hot right now.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
And he's probably going to be the captain. I think I'm going to go out on a
You
limb. I
think
think he's going to
Kreider's
be
gonna
the
be the
next
next captain?
Yeah,
Right.
I think he's going to be the next captain
Okay.
of the Rangers.
I mean, this is supposed to be a rebuilding year for them, essentially, right?
Nah,
I think-
that plan went half out the
I think
window when they
this-
signed Panarin and
Right.
who was the defenseman they signed?
Truba.
Trouba.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think between now and the end of the and the 7th round of the draft is a rebuild for the Rangers,
right.
and then
Yeah.
they're going all in.
I think that
July 1st,
Yeah.
I think their rebuild is over for the Rangers.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna go out there and spend the dough.
Yeah,
You know?
whatever money they have left after they make these, after they sign D'Angelo and whoever else they have to, and they finally figure out who's going to play goalie.
Right.
Can I go back to winners for 1 second?
Sure,
Just
go ahead.
in terms of,
Absolutely.
I know, don't want to be too Islander heavy here, but I saw a common theme with everyone commenting on the moves yesterday, particularly, of course, within the Islander, threads. And I found that one of the big takeaways, I think, as an Islander fan, is the amount of good players that have raised their hand and said, "Yes, I'm interested in considering the Islanders."
Yes.
That's a new development for the Islanders, right?
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
even 2 years
Yeah.
ago,
No.
like a Panarin, we're just talking about him, right? Clearly chose the Rangers over the Islanders, but you look at now Zach Parise. All of a sudden, he waves his no trade clause and says, "You know what? I'm interested."
Right.
They're building a new arena. They got Trotz and Lamoriello. He's intimately, connected to Lamoriello through the
Right.
Devils.
It's a
but-
foreign feeling, as an
right?
Islander
It feels
fan.
weird, right?
Yeah.
We're so
Yeah.
used to going, shit, we lost out again.
lost
if
out
only
again,
we have
right.
some, people knocking on our door, and at least
And
now,
Peugeot, they got
Right.
Peugeot, and he immediately signed a long-term extension.
Right.
At a good average.
Right.
I think at a good
It's-
average. If you've seen the guy play, he's good in the corners. He's
Right.
good with the puck.
Kills penalties.
He kills penalties.
wins a ton of faceoffs. in
Yeah,
the
he does a
offensive
lot of
zone,
good
right?
stuff.
Yeah, it's
Murders
a lot of
the
good
Rangers.
stuff. Yeah,
Murders
I
the
hope he
Rangers.
murders them
Right.
tonight.
Scored
Amazing.
4 goals against them and eliminated them in the playoffs. Do
Yeah.
you remember that?
Yeah.
That was last year?
A couple of years ago with the
Couple
Ottawa
years ago?
Senators. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Murdered
right. He
them.
scored in
Amazing.
overtime, right?
Yeah, he scored 4 goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fourth was
Yeah.
in overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see them light up Gorgiev tonight.
I know, but should we
You
get
don't
the
think that-
Peugeot
yeah.
talk out of the way? We were talking. We'll just get the Peugeot trade out of the way.
I
Sure.
don't need to derail you.
That's okay.
I just like
So
the
you're
fact-
thinking the Islanders are winners too?
I think so.
You don't
yeah.
think they gave up too much for Peugeot?
No.
No, not. It was
Well-
close to being too much, but then when they re-signed him,
Right.
it stopped being too much.
Easily
Okay.
too much as a rental.
Right, because
Right.
your first rounder is going to be mid to late round anyway.
Right.
That's number one. So
Right.
unless this guy's a gem and you're going to start him in 2 years, it's really not worth it. And the guys in the middle of the first round usually don't start in 2 years.
Right.
Unless you're a really bad team and you have 3 draft picks, and that middle one's okay. Well, he's going to be better than our ninth forward anyway.
Right.
So let's start him and let him develop here. But so that's, to me, I don't think they paid too much.
I don't think so either. Like I said, I think those picks potentially are a lot for a rental, but the fact that they quickly signed them is a great thing.
And I don't think Lou gives up that much unless he knows he's going to sign
Two of
him.
the picks are conditional, right?
Well, the
Well,
third pick is the
fir-
best. The third pick is
is-
conditional if they
if
win the Stanley Cup, which I love.
Right.
I think you should always do. It's like
Right.
I'm betting
Exactly.
that
Right.
I'm going to win the cup
Right.
again.
Right.
Like, I think GM should do that more often.
Yeah. It's almost like betting the don't pass line when
Yeah.
you're playing
The
craps.
second
Like,
is-
all right, I'm going to put a little something for this.
It's like betting the hard too, or it's
Right.
like betting.
Right.
It's like betting
Right.
snake eyes
Right.
almost.
That's
You know.
true.
The second isn't conditional, and then the first is top 3
First
protected.
is top
which,
3, yeah.
How that's
Which
even
would
a
mean
ridiculous condition.
they'd have to miss the playoffs and then win the lottery
right
to
Which-
get to that, which doesn't happen. But you know what? It's good to see that Lou's thinking 9 moves ahead in case that horrible situation happens. He's got to
case it
cover.
does right.
Right. And everything now with the Islanders is just long term, right? With the Belmont development. Like I feel like just everything is long term now.
Yes.
And everything just seemed like it was half assed or piecemeal and
Ken
for-
wants
for
to
a
know if you're an
while.
overkill fan.
Am I an Overkill fan? Well, they're a Long Island thrash metal band, so I can't say I don't like them. I kind of like them. I've met Bobby Blitz. He's a really cool guy. I like some of their stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
I like some of their stuff. I'm not really into that really high pitched singing.
And now
that
back to
often, but-
hockey.
Okay, back to hockey. That's going to be comedians on thrash metal next week.
Did you share the link? Did you share the link yet?
No, I don't know how to walk and
Oh,
chew gum.
my
I don't know how to
gosh.
do this while
wanna-
I'm
Sally
doing
can
it.
do it.
Sally, you mind doing
It
it?
may not look like it, but I'm extremely nervous the whole time that
Yeah,
I'm doing
just open
this.
it up and hand
What
it
am I?
over.
What do I have to do?
Just
Open up.
give me your phone.
Yeah, give her a phone. Open up.
I won't look at any of your pictures, promise.
Liar.
Open up YouTube and open up Twitter.
Start texting
So here-
everyone. You out? You up?
Just get
You're
the
not going to
link.
find any Rick Cares lesson I
Just
do.
put the link
Yeah.
from YouTube and like into copy, and then I'll whatever, and then I'll just send it to everyone.
All right, so winners. You think the Islanders are winner, Tom? And you think I think the Canes are winner. Do you have another winner on your list
Yes, I
besides
do.
the Canes and the
Flip the page.
Islanders?
Hold on, I should have just ripped these pages up. I think nobody's talking about it. I think the Penguins are a big winner.
Yeah, they made a lot of good moves, but nothing. To me, nothing that stood out flashy, but a lot of good moves to fill some holes that they needed.
It was like, well, when you're starting off with
Right.
Crosby and Malkin,
Right.
you know, you don't need they are the big moves. Now
Right.
now you got Zucker last week, which
Yep.
was great. You got Sheary back,
Okay,
who won 2 Stanley Cups with them. You already know he's successful with Pittsburgh.
right.
You got Rodriguez from Buffalo, who's a good third line center. And you got Patrick Marleau on a dime,
Right.
who grew up a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, so this is like a dream come true for him.
Right.
You know, I think he's going to play well. The one thing I wonder is when you add 4 people to a team at the trade deadline, how does that throw chemistry
Right,
off?
chemistry for the. For
You
the-
know,
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about Marlowe because he's definitely a
He's a team
veteran.
guy,
He's
yeah.
a team guy, veteran. Never any worries about him.
Sheary was there.
Sherry was already there, so you're looking
You
at
know.
the 2 new guys.
I think Zucker's going to be great for them.
Mm.
I think he's, you know, they have him for a few years. So, did you look at the weird pictures? Oh, okay.
I
think
saw
those are on the
no
screen
weird
now, right,
pictures.
Sally?
Yeah, I'm sending them to everyone.
Is it on the? Never mind.
No, I
Okay.
didn't do YouTube. I just did Facebook.
Okay.
I just shared the link from the stream to Facebook.
Wow.
Now you could share it to Twitter if you wanted to.
You know what? Let's just keep
All right.
talking.
All right. So go ahead. You think they're Pittsburgh? was
Pittsburgh's
the winner.
definitely a winner, and
Okay.
then while we're talking about it, I think Buffalo's a loser.
Yeah. What was that? Simmons to the Sabres.
Well-
Why? What did they give up? A third or a fifth?
Fifth.
Fifth, right?
Well, before we get to Simmons, Sheary and Rodriguez, and cutting Bogosian, it's a common theme if you're in Buffalo of saying I don't want to be in Buffalo. Like
Right,
these are all
right.
people that have said please trade
Get me out of
Right.
here.
What's up with Buffalo?
Right.
Is it horrible? Is it a horrible place? Have you ever been to Buffalo?
I have been to Buffalo.
Is it horrible?
No, I mean it's
Sally,
not-
Buffalo, have you ever been there?
It's a little chilly.
It's horrible.
Yeah, but
I
it's
have
not
2 cousins that went to school there.
okay.
And they said that if God had meant for people to live there, they would put more hair on their bodies. That's what my cousin Matt said. So
Yeah, it's
People that
cold.
live there
cold as
for a
shit.
while, though,
Yeah.
love it after a while. Like Rochester people
just
Not
love it
these
up
three
there.
guys.
Right.
It's not
Yeah,
that.
maybe not those
Yeah,
three
no, I
guys.
have friends that live in that have been to or live in Rochester that love
But
it.
Buffalo's
you know,
still
but then,
searching for that identity. They haven't really had that since Housley. I
Yeah.
mean, really, Housley was the guy there, and really, what have they done? But they had what Barrasso and
They had that.
Housley.
They had that
Right.
one beautiful season when they had Briere and Drury as
Okay.
a 1-2 punch, and they almost made it to the. They went to the Stanley Cup, I think, and then they lost both of them in that offseason, and they've never recovered.
Even
from
in
that.
the LaFontaine years, when the Turgeon came
I was
here
just
and
gonna say,
LaFontaine
yeah,
went
yeah.
there, even with the LaFontaine years, they loved him, but they were never really a threat.
But they were selling tickets. They were getting into the playoffs.
Yeah,
They're like the Bills. Like they get close,
Right.
and then it doesn't happen.
I would
But
root for them if they made it.
I don't know.
I would root for unless it was like Eastern Conference Finals, Islanders, Sabres,
Right.
and but
We're gonna be homers to this whole. This is like we're all okay to be homers in this episode.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I've had a lot of bad run-ins with Buffalo Sabres fans.
Sabres fans,
I think. Well, I mean, like when I was younger, I think I've had like a lot of drunken, like throwing stuff at each other situations with Sabres fans. The Islanders used to always be, because tickets were always really available all
Right.
the time. So the Islanders were always like every other team's booster club trip
was
Like we're
able
all
to.
gonna
Right.
go.
Right.
There could be 40 of us. There's gonna
Right.
be. We're gonna go to the Islander game. We're gonna go on a tour to see Manhattan.
Right,
You know, like it's a
right.
whole thing.
Right.
So I was at so many times, especially in college, where I'd be sitting in the cheap seats and I would be in an ocean of some other team's fans. Like, and
Right.
I would have to get into a fight with them.
You,
in some
I have
way.
To. It's,
Right.
Yeah,
It was
it's not,
Philly fans. I always got into fights with Philly fans.
Yeah, but
Well,
we hear that about Philly fans.
Yeah,
they're the
just
worst people.
dicks.
They're the worst. Philadelphia sports fans are the worst people.
Yeah,
in
they're the worst
world.
people in the world.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
I got into a
Every
lot of
sport.
fights with
Yep.
Philadelphia Flyers fans. Got into some fights with some Bills, with some Sabres fans. Of course, Ranger
Of course,
fans.
Ranger
Of
fans.
course, Ranger fans.
They're animals.
Just
Joe Murphy says, "Let's go Rangers."
Okay.
All
right.
All right. Whatever.
Thanks for listening.
Welcome to Comedians on Hockey.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
All right.
But it is. Can we?
Yeah.
Just to go back to that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I love explaining the Islander Ranger rivalry to people that aren't big hockey fans.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, you date someone in high school and they're like, what is this thing? What's this obsession with the Rangers? Like, because they would always say, well, if the Mets don't make it, I don't care if if the Yankees
Right.
win this. You know,
It doesn't make sense.
it doesn't
Yes.
make sense to someone who doesn't really
Yeah.
understand
Right.
the way the rivalry came
Works,
about, right? And that
Yeah.
the Rangers have been around since the turn of the century.
and they
there's
have that
6
look.
teams
Like
in
if
the
you
league.
bring it up to like a guy, oh, why? What's the difference between Rangers and Islanders? They give you the look like you
Right.
you just asked him to put a veggie burger on the barbecue, like
Oh.
that eye roll. That
Yeah.
like, oh,
Right.
yeah.
There's so much back and forth bickering.
And they play in the same division too, where the
Right.
Jets and Giants don't. The Knicks and Nets do, but who cares? It's basketball.
Right.
And
even the-
and the Yankees and Mets,
Right.
they have the Subway Series, but they don't play in the same division.
Right.
The only time they can really play for meaningful games is in the World Series.
It's a sport that promotes violence, that accepts fighting, and it's a very aggressive sport. So when you're in school and you're sitting next to a kid in a Ranger jersey and I'm in an Islander jersey, it's like you're programmed by the sport to
punch
want to
him.
pull that jersey over their heads and
Right.
start,
Right.
you're programmed to want to bicker and fight with people.
Right.
The Ranger fans are always at Nassau Coliseum because it's so cheap compared to having to go to Madison Square Garden. So it just
Yeah,
fuels
right.
this rivalry.
And there
It's
is-
great for the sport.
Even my son
Totally.
today, he's like, "Oh, you going to the Islander Ranger game?" My friend's going. I go, "Yeah, which friend?" He goes, "Kyle."
That asshole
I go, "Oh
Ranger fan?
yeah." He goes, "I think he's a Ranger fan." I go, "Oh well, then fuck him." And my kid started laughing. He's like, "Ah."
Well,
All right, we're gonna definitely do a show all about the rivalry.
Yes.
we should get back to the trade deadline.
Yes,
You have to
let's
leave
get
in
back
like
to
10 minutes. What do you have to leave?
No, I got all right, I got a little time. It's starting in 7 minutes, but I'll like I said, I'll be late. It's fine. I'll be late.
I open up the door in case Kenny comes in.
Thank you.
You know what? You could leave, and Sally will just move over.
Sally will
And
slide
Sally
over.
will
Right, we
give
could talk
the
about veggie
layman
burgers.
opinion.
I hope you guys talk more about the the guy who filled in for
Oh,
the
we're
goalie.
gonna get there.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's
It's-
such a
it's amazing.
How many
fascinating
more
story.
episodes before you're a hockey fan? How many more?
I
Are
think
you
she's
close?
gotta
Did you
go
go
to-
from 2% to now 3.5%?
Why don't you take Sally to the Islander Ranger game tonight?
It's not
and
even
she
my
could-
ticket.
I've been to an Islander game before. I was like, way up in the nosebleed section, but it was fun.
Yeah.
That used to be the
Once
smoking
you see
section
the
when
game,
I was there.
yeah, right. Once you see the game live, then you really start to become a fan. Once you
Yeah.
see it on, if you're on TV, you're like,
Totally.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But if you're a fringe fan, and again, you go to a game, you're like, wow, oh, now I get it. Especially when it's a game like tonight where people are going to be going nuts.
Right. And you know how when they say everyone remembers where they were when Kennedy got shot or 9/11 and
Mm-hmm.
like I remember where I was when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup in '94. I was like, this is the end of the world as I know
I don't
it.
remember. I
It
don't
was-
remember at all.
Do you remember where you were
blocked it
when
out?
Dale Hunter
Yeah.
smashed into Pierre
Turgeon?
Turgeon?
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
there. I was there
Yep.
with my face painted like a lunatic.
Wow.
Anyway,
Yep.
Yeah.
we'll do that. We'll get back to that. Another episode. Another winner, Bruins, real quick. I think the Bruins were a big winner. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
They
okay.
had almost no holes to fill. They're pretty much a complete team. They have great defense. They got 2 good goalies already. They got good. They have a good
and
top
Halak.
6. They have a great top 6 already. They got Richie. They got Kasha and 2 separate trades from the Ducks, and they got rid of Backus's contract,
Which was amazing.
which was like a win in itself. That's
Right.
like getting a first round draft pick,
Right.
Even though they had to give up a first round draft.
So that's your winner.
Yeah, I think those are
Okay.
winners.
Canes, Islanders, and
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, and
Oh wait.
Bruins.
The biggest winner, I feel, one of the biggest winners, Tampa Bay Lightning. I feel
Really?
like.
You like
Yes.
the Lightning?
I love what the Tampa Bay Lightning did. Tampa Bay Lightning
A
last
first
year,
round for
2 first rounds for.
for
Pretty,
what's
it was
what-
a first round and Foot, who was a first rounder for
Right.
Coleman. I don't care.
What about good? What was his name?
Barclay Goodrow,
Yeah, Goodrow.
and they got a third round pick
That's
for him.
that's a little bit much for him. I'm thinking.
But if you look at it, the big picture,
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning last year were fantastic. All season long, they were a juggernaut. People were pretty much just penciling them in to win the Stanley Cup, and then they lost in the first round.
To the Canes.
They lost in the first round because they
No,
didn't have
Jackets.
to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Jackets,
They didn't
right.
have any sandpaper. They didn't have any grit. They didn't have any of that.
So
heart.
he's
Coleman and Goudreau are all that. They're basically like giving them two Casey Cizicases basically
Okay.
on your
All
team.
right.
Like those two kind of players are not going to let them ever get swept.
Okay.
Like they're going to make sure that they're in it for all of it. I think that was like a heart injection.
I thought it
on
was a
the
little
team.
much.
It's not going to be a little much
Okay,
if they win the Stanley
if-
Cup this year.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. That's a big if, though.
Which I think they could do. And also, side point, one of the people involved in that trade was Anthony Greco from Queens, New York.
Ah, well, that brings me to one of my trades.
Okay.
Sonny Milano from the Jackets to the Ducks. He's from Long Island. I wish the Islanders would have got him.
I wrote that down.
Right.
I'm very happy for Sonny Milano. I've met him. He's a good kid. And I think this is a great move for his career. I think he needed to get away from Tortorella.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the kind of player that flourishes under Tortorella. I think he's the kind of guy that's going to flourish in Anaheim.
In Anaheim? Okay.
With a coach that's going to let him show his swagger a little bit, let him be creative, get him out of the box. Like Tortorella is a great coach for having like a bunch of foot soldiers that
Right.
are all going to move in the same direction and shut up and just do what they're supposed to be doing. They're not a team. He's not a coach for a flashy kind of team.
Right.
Are my friends being jerks?
No,
right?
not at all. Not at all. No. Sally commented to John Blenn. No, I think no. Everybody. What about Iron Maiden? LOL. They're talking about that.
doesn't
Love
like
the
Iron
Whaler
Maiden?
shirt, bro. Says Brian Grazik.
Shows my street cred.
Okay. Can we talk about losers now?
Yeah.
Can we talk about losers?
That's just mean spirited.
Well, there's losers. There's
We
winners
talked
and
about
losers
so-
and
we talked
everything.
about the
Glad you hear
Rangers
Sally
so
to keep
much
everything
already.
nice.
My girl's gonna come out every now and then.
There we go.
That's not nice. Cheer on the losers.
How
They're
about those
trying.
who didn't win as much? Is that better, Sally?
yeah.
Really quick, the last winner,
tried hard, just
Capitals,
not as enough.
last winner.
You like the Capitals?
I like.
picking
I
up
love.
Kovalchuk,
I'm a
yeah.
huge Kovalchuk fan. I think Kovalchuk is going to be pushed by Ovechkin, and I think it's going to be great. He said in the press, him and Ovi talked about how they always wanted to play on the same team ever since they were teenagers.
They're not starting on the same line.
No, because they're both right-handed shots.
I was gonna
and,
say.
they both play the same game.
Yeah.
So, but
So you think that makes them even more dangerous?
I think it's going to be great. I think Dylan. We talked about that
Yep, we
last
talked
week.
about that.
was a
Mhm.
great pickup. I brought a video. I don't know if we have time for it. Of Dylan beating up Malkin.
Okay.
I think that's a great pick. And I'm a big fan of Sprong. That's a trade that everyone's forgot about, that
Yep.
nobody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
He was a high draft pick of the Penguins. He went to the Ducks. But he went to the Ducks when they were very deep right now. So I think if you gave him a chance, I think he's gonna score goals for them.
Okay. You're live on Comedians on Hockey.
Hey now, you should be comedians at hockey.
We're not there yet. We're almost there. Where are you?
Dude, I'm walking from Nassau Community College. You should be broadcasting live from the game.
How am I going to get my ticket if you're going in?
Oh no, I'm going to wait for you at the lobby. I don't care.
I thought you were coming here.
Because the traffic was crazy. I couldn't get. Would have been another half an hour to get to you.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll meet you there. I'm probably leaving.
I just got to the community college.
All right, I'm
Doing
probably
the
leaving
Kobe
about
tribute right now.
All right, I'm probably-
Lad is crying. Whoa, Kobe. All right, goodbye.
All right. I'm probably leaving 7:15. Bye. All right, quickly, losers. Let's get to the teams who didn't do as well. Sorry, Sally. Sorry.
Is
The
that better,
teams that
Sally?
did not do as well as the other teams, but tried really hard.
But tried really hard, and
Yes.
you should get a trophy too.
They were part of the trades too.
Go ahead, winners.
I mean, losers.
Losers, sorry.
I think the Detroit Red Wings were a loser.
Yeah.
Giving up Athanasiou. I thought he should have been a part of their future. He's young. He's only like 25. I know he's in a contract year, but he's one of the fastest guys in the league. I think that really helped the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
They already have McDavid. They already have Draisaitl. They got Green from them also, who's really fast. Now they got Athanasiou, who's extremely fast. The Oilers are probably the fastest team in the league now.
Okay.
And they got 2 second-round picks. Wouldn't you rather have a number 2 center or a great number 3 center than two second-round picks?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was a dumb trade
Okay.
on their part. Buffalo, we went into. I think they're a loser.
Yeah.
They unfortunately.
Loser.
Why pick up Simmons?
I don't understand it. I feel like that was just a panic move of their
They're
part.
on the outside looking in.
Simmons must have been so flabbergasted when he heard, like, oh, hey, Wayne, you've been traded. He's like, oh, great. What Stanley Cup contending team have I been traded to?
The
The
Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres,
Yeah.
who are going to. Are you kidding me?
And by the way, it's -7 with the wind chill right
Oh, my
now.
God. The sun. Maybe you'll see some sun. I don't know. Maybe you'll see some sun before the season ends.
My
oh,
goodness.
my God.
All right.
I wanted to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights getting
Okay.
Lehner.
Okay.
Everyone thinks it's a great idea. I want to look at it from a different perspective.
Okay. I thought it was a good idea. But
He's-
I wish
he's a
the
fantastic
Canes would have
goalie.
picked him up.
He's a fantastic goalie. Fleury's a good goalie, a very good goalie for them.
The workload is too much, though.
Did they create a goalie controversy? Like now, whenever
Okay.
Fleury kind of falters a little bit, now is there going to start to be a camp that says, why isn't Robin Lehner in? He's fantastic. Look at his numbers.
Right.
And now you have this tug of war. Is Fleury going to be looking over his shoulder now
yeah.
every time he makes a mistake? Lehner's not going to look over
And
his
that's
shoulder.
why he
Lehner-
wanted out of Pittsburgh, too, because he was looking over his shoulder
Yeah,
there.
and we know, especially, goalies are crazy people.
Right,
Like, and it's like a
They're
goalie thing is
idiosyncratic. They're so superstitious. Like
so much of
everything,
it's
yeah.
mental.
Yeah.
Like, did you get in your own goalie's kitchen by getting Robin Lehner on the team? You know, I know Subban was an awful backup goalie for them, but I think there was a lot of goalies available that if you wanted a backup goalie, I don't
you
think
could have
you
spent
needed
a little less.
You didn't need to bring a stud in.
You
that
could've
could
put
be your
JF
number one
Berube.
guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I feel like that might throw the chemistry off a little bit.
Right.
And they got rid of Cody Eakin. They sent him to Winnipeg
Correct.
for like a draft pick. Like if you're in it to win it, Cody Eakin's like a heart, soul kind of guy. Works
Mm-hmm.
really hard. His people fights. You know, he's like a real gritty. I don't know why you get rid of him unless there was some kind of
Gambling problem?
locker room problem, something that
Right.
we didn't know about.
Right.
But on the surface, that looks like
So
They
you're
did
not a
look
big
good.
fan of Leonard to the Knights. You think that might upset, even though they're the hottest team in hockey right now, you might think that.
I think it might have messed with the
upset-
recipe a little
Okay.
bit.
All right.
you
We're
know.
gonna, we're
It's an
gonna find
interesting
out.
point of view. Yeah, time will tell.
We're gonna find out.
I
and
love Robin
Leonard's
Lehner.
I love him too.
He's not gonna sign there again.
I saw a lot of people commenting yesterday when he went over saying, now I'm upset that we can't welcome him into the Coliseum because we're not going to see him until next season.
Yes.
They said, or the finals.
Yeah.
But because they want to show him respect.
Oh,
because, you know,
man.
see, he just got the Long
The
Island
Long
tattoo on
Island
his
tattoo.
neck.
He doesn't come back here, unfortunately.
Right.
If we get Sorokin,
Yeah.
he doesn't come back here.
Right.
He's not coming back
No.
here because of the whole Varlamov
Because then
situation.
Varlamov goes to the backup role
Right.
while Sorokin starts.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's a shame. He was. I would have liked to have seen him go to the Canes because I do like him, and I think
You don't want to face him in the playoffs, though.
Right.
I
I'm
just.
glad he didn't go to the,
I
I'm
like
glad he
that.
didn't go to the East.
Right.
No, I like him. No, if
That's a
anything,
good
I
point.
think the Canes
He gets hot, he gets streaky.
that could have
And
put.
they beat us last time with a garbage goalie. I imagine how they
Yeah.
would do with Lehner.
Right.
Yeah, and they beat another team too with a goalie that would be considered garbage for the most part. I can't wait to talk about that. All right, good. Any more losers you got?
I'm going to bounce.
All right,
leaving?
you're gonna take off.
Go
All right,
watch
Tom
the game.
Galati's
See you,
taking
Matt.
off.
Take care.
Let's go Islanders,
Thank you for
buddy.
coming.
I'll see you later.
Bye, Tom.
Sally.
Good to see you.
Are you
see you guys
bouncing
soon.
soon?
No, well, another 10, 15 minutes.
I don't think I have 10 more minutes to talk about.
Oh, we got 10. Well, then we end early. This is the beauty of it. We're
Yeah.
yes. All right, Tom. We'll see you soon. You're welcome anytime, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. So where you got more losers though? Don't you have more losers?
Well, I mean, we could always talk about. Let me see. I talked about Vegas. Talked about Sonny Milano. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the biggest losers that ever walked the earth, losing.
Why would they trade their goalie to Colorado? Their backup goalie.
Oh, he got run out of town. Like that's the thing. That's another thing about Toronto is
Right.
they basically run their team.
Into the ground.
The people who run the team aren't really the GM. The people who run the team are the people that hold the pitchforks and the torches outside the stadium. They are the ones that tell the team what has to happen.
Right.
And I think they were going to kill Hutchinson at some point. Like he was the guy that came in and he would lose a lot and
Right.
he didn't play well. And as an Islander fan, we don't realize it, but they're basically covered like the Yankees.
Oh,
over
absolutely.
there.
Yeah. Yes,
So
yes.
whenever you do something wrong, like when Hutchinson blows a game for them, or they perceive that that's what he did,
Right.
there's 9 different articles in every newspaper and everything saying how much he's an idiot. You know,
Right, right.
and you could ask Reimer, that happened to him. You know, when he was the
Reimer
backup
went.
there.
Didn't he just get traded? Oh no. He's He's part of another story. That's right.
But he needed a new location, and I'm happy he got out of it. And you know what? John Tavares is going to be feeling that pretty soon if he isn't already.
He
as
is
the
already.
captain.
There's people on Twitter that are really kind of railing him and railing his nonsense when he comes on.
You know what?
You know what? We worked really hard today, but it just didn't go our way. The puck,
And he always says, "I got to put it on myself first."
yeah,
You know, like
gotta put it on me.
he has the
Gotta put it
whole
on me.
script
Yeah.
of what he needs
It's the
to
same
say.
thing we've heard for
over and over
7 or
again.
8 years here, whatever the hell he was here. But, however, we gave him a pass because he was our savior.
And we're the Islander fans. We're just happy people show up.
Right,
You know?
we're
We're
just-
like the
right.
Mets. Met fans
Right.
are the same thing.
I bet
you know?
he's kicking himself going, shit, I should have stuck with the Islanders. Look how good they look right now.
Maybe. I mean,
You know?
I don't know how much of it is also the decisions of significant others, how much that comes into play if your significant other wants to go somewhere else.
I want to move to Tirana.
I don't know if that was maybe a decision on why Kreider stayed. Maybe Kreider
Oh, his
has a
wife?
significant other that doesn't feel like
Or
moving.
boyfriend?
Or
Well, he's a Ranger, so it's most likely he has a boyfriend.
and I mean, I'm not in
Right.
their kitchen. I don't know what their conversations
Not that
are
there's
like.
anything wrong with that.
If I was in their kitchen, I think they would be.
Do
they-
hockey players trade around as much as baseball players? Because it seems like baseball
More.
traders
I think more
trade
so.
all the
More
time.
so.
Oh, okay.
Because baseball players also like if you're good, a baseball player will get like a 10-year, like they'll get giant, lengthy contracts.
Yeah.
That hockey players they're not allowed to get more than 7 years from a team, or 8 years if it's the home team.
Unless it's,
But-
Charles Wong.
And also because hockey is such a like taxing sport on your body, like your lifespan, your career span.
Is it less than football?
Yeah,
No,
well,
I don't think so.
football you'll get cut like
Yeah.
that. Football doesn't have a union. They don't have a players union, so they have no stability. Like you could just cut a football player.
Yeah,
out
no
of
matter what the
nowhere.
contract says. So even after 5, if you
Yeah.
sign him for 5 years, you cut him after 1 year, and they don't
They
get their
broke
money.
the union.
Wow.
So they had, like it, that's probably the least amount of job security you have, and then comes
Yeah.
hockey
Yeah.
right after that.
And injuries too. Football's a tough sport.
Yeah,
These guys are fast, big.
there's like 80 guys on the team. I don't know. I don't
Sure.
watch football anymore. I
Oh.
don't gamble, so there's no
gamble?
reason to watch football.
I don't gamble, so there's no reason. All right, any other losers you have there, pal?
I think that's it. I didn't really want to kick anybody while they were down too much, but
Yeah, I'm saying the Leafs are definitely losers.
San Jose, another thing, like I didn't understand. I mean, I understand first is a first, but Barclay Goodrow's kind of like an Athanasio kind of type. He's young. He's inexpensive. I don't know why. And he had term left on his deal. He's not a free agent coming up. I would have kept him. You know, he's a character guy. What's left for a San Jose fan to go watch for the rest of the season?
Right.
You know, I didn't like to see him get traded, but you know what? He's probably happy he got traded. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win the Stanley. If it's not the Islanders, I think it's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
You think the Islanders are going to win the Stanley Cup? Are they going on a run now? Because things seem to be settled with them now.
What time is it?
You got...
Did the Islander Ranger game, did it start yet?
Yes.
I think we'll know in 2 hours what we got with Peugeot.
Okay, and
'Cause-
whether they're going to make a run. Well, Clutterbuck's practicing,
Yeah.
so he's going to come back.
I think people romanticize about that fourth line and about Clutterbuck a lot more.
I think it's a really effective fourth line.
Yeah, it is an effective fourth line, but
And if you take one of those pieces out, it hurts.
it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it does because they have a chemistry and they have every single one of them have a drive.
It annoys me that it does.
Right.
Because when I see Cizikas, Martin, and Clutterbuck out there, they play like guys possessed.
Right.
And then when you take one of them out, they don't play like that anymore, and that annoys me because I understand that there's a chemistry.
I think
but
they still play like that. It's just
To me, I feel like there's a lack.
that sub, the sub that's on that line, doesn't play like that, or doesn't fit in, and once one piece of that machine comes out, the machine breaks down.
I think Cizikas plays like that still. I think Matt
Yes.
Martin slows down a lot
You
when
think
Kyle Clutterbuck isn't there.
Really?
Yeah.
But now both of them are out, Cizikas and Clutterbuck.
I think Clutterbuck slows down a lot when Martin's out there. I think they feed off each other, and I think that I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm from the outside looking in, but as a guy that's just played beer league, I would be a lot more hyped up every game.
Every game.
You know,
I'd be
I wouldn't take shifts off.
I'd
but
have diarrhea every game if I was in the NHL. I'd be like, I can't believe I got to go back out there.
I
in
get
front of all
nervous
these
doing
people.
this podcast. I didn't
Right.
even know how to do the Facebook thing.
Right. See,
So-
so there you go. See, so don't make fun of them. All right. Now, last but not least, the story is the story of the week. Usually we do a fight of the week. We had the game of the week already, Islanders versus Rangers, which I'm going to in a little bit.
I'm jealous.
But the story of the week is, so Carolina is traveling. They played the night before, and now they're traveling to Toronto. They're taking on the Maple Leafs.
All right.
Both teams fighting for
Very important game.
Very important game. Toronto's on the outside looking in. Carolina's
but
in.
You're right there.
Carolina's in
Yeah.
as of right now. Okay? Reimer starts the game, gets hurt after one shot. One shot, one save, gets hurt. Okay? No problem. Mrazek goes in. Okay? Plays up until the middle of the second period. Gets crashed into by a Toronto Maple Leaf
Hard.
player. Hard. He goes out. Now they're in Toronto.
Bring him down.
So they're now
Was he on the bench already?
Reimer. No, after Reimer got hurt, he got half dressed, and they were making him a jersey just in case. So he was in the tunnel. He wasn't half dressed or on the. He wasn't dressed on the bench. He was in the tunnel, half dressed, thinking this is never going to happen.
Holy
Thinking
cow.
this is never going to happen.
Shitting a brick.
He is the Toronto Marlies practice goalie as well.
Yeah.
So he has a little experience with professional players. However, he's never played a professional game in his life.
And he takes care of the ice.
And he takes care of the ice. He's a Zamboni driver and maintenance worker for the Scotiabank Arena. Okay? His name is David Ayres. He's 42 years old.
Number 90.
Number 90. Now starting.
He
for
should
your-
be in the video game.
Right.
He is
Oh,
now
Yes, he should be in.
forever Carolina Hurricanes alumni.
Yes. He's 42 years old, 15 years removed from a kidney transplant, of which he got the kidney from his mother.
So much to love
He
about
gets
this
the
story.
call. He is now starting in goal for the Carolina Hurricanes against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
His employers.
His employers.
Yeah.
How do they even do that? Like, how do you do that? You,
It's
you could just
just
pick
hockey.
anyone that you want.
You sign a day contract. That's
Every
it.
single team.
So anyone, like even in the audience, like you could say, "Hey, raise your hand if you know what you're doing."
No, what happens
could
is
do that?
every single home stadium is responsible for having an emergency goalie in the building
No
in case
way.
this happens.
No
Yeah,
other players,
it
just the
happened-
goalie.
I think it was 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
no other players.
Okay.
No other players, just the goalie.
Well, also the reason for that is goalies use different skates than regular hockey players. So if you were to say like we're gonna just put like if you were a pitcher in baseball and all the pitchers got hurt, they would make a first baseman be the pitcher until the game is over, and that's happened before. And they look like and they
So
look
you
awful.
don't want to bring another player in because then everyone in the world has to carry around two pairs of skates, one that's regular ice skates and one's
Well, it
goalie
would
Yeah.
be
It would
their
be really-
equipment manager. They don't carry their stuff around.
And also, goalie equipment is tailored to you, so
Right.
you would have to have a full set of gear ready for someone that's going to be there. So like, and it's almost never happened. I think it happened 3 years ago. Both goalies in Chicago got hurt,
Right.
and a guy had to come down for 5 minutes, and I think he only got like 1 or 2 shots on him or something. And I think he won. I don't know if he won.
I don't
What
remember.
happens if that guy gets hurt? I know I'm being ridiculous, but
I
then
guess
you
they go
just,
to a backup. I've never seen a
Okay.
game be called because of it. So
I wouldn't be
It's
surprised.
almost
If,
like the president line. Like
yeah,
he's the
yeah,
president.
yeah.
I wouldn't be
It's
surprised
like
if there's a wheel. Like if
President,
there's
Vice
The president
Speaker,
of education
right.
is now the president of the United States.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a phone list of guys when we're putting the emergency in, start calling one of these people to start getting here
It
in
might
case that
be.
it happens. 'Cause
You're
what
right,
if
it
the
might
other
be.
teams? What if it happens to the other team also?
Right. It would be shocking. So he's in the tunnel. They're making him a jersey just in case. This is just in case. So he's thinking, all right, worst case scenario, I get a jersey out of this.
And get to sit on the bench and be on TV for
I
a
get
couple
right.
seconds.
I get Mrazek gets crashed into by Toronto Maple Leaf. Now he's in the game. The Hurricanes are up 4-1. The Maple Leafs score on their first 2 shots.
Yeah, that was with the icebreakers.
So he's 4-3. It's 4-3 now. They end up winning 6-3. He made the rest of the saves the rest of the game. He saved 8 out of 10 shots.
Brandon Moore must have screamed and yelled at everybody. Gave like the most like rousing speech ever. And the Canes came out like like
Right.
lightning and thunder probably to make sure that they were going to win the game for this guy. Like
Yeah.
they probably played the best defense they've ever played in their lives.
They did say they kind of stepped it up after those first
I mean,
two
he only
shots.
faced 8 shots.
10
I think.
shots, 10.
10 shots, yeah. So, yeah, that's great. They shut that game down.
Yeah, they shut it down. I mean, but still,
It's amazing.
you got to shoot from anywhere when you have your Zamboni driver in net.
Oh,
and he's 42 years old.
I'd be
Goalies
telling
are
him-
retired at 38, 37. He's 42.
I'd be telling him to take slap shots from the red line.
Right. Just throw it in,
Yeah.
dump it in, flip it up like we do sometimes. Flip it up, try to let it bounce into the
Yeah.
goal. Because sometimes that throws goalies
Keep
off.
dumping it in.
So apparently everybody's tuning in, and everybody that's tuning in is talking about it now. Yeah, he get paid $500 plus he got to keep the jersey. However, what we said before was the Canes are now building him. Will Sharon, Eric, please take the fish sticks jersey and burn that thing.
Embrace your history. All right?
It's not mine.
Embrace your history.
I think he said his stick has gone off to the Hall of Fame. It's possible. But yeah, $500 on the jersey. Of the Canes are now making T-shirts that say Canes, his name and number on the back, and he's going to get to keep the proceeds. But also a portion of that is going to go to the kidney charity of his choice. I guess the Kidney Foundation.
There's
I
so
don't know
much to
what it is.
unpack with this story. Also, he had to come back the next day and go back to work for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, were they a little upset with him? Were they proud of him? You know,
No.
they lost.
Well, the
but-
fans hate him now.
Really?
The fans hate him in the town that he lives in.
However, they were cheering for him during the game.
Yeah.
They were cheering
You
for him.
can't not
'Cause it-
play well because that's bad for him. You have to do your best.
Right, and you got to cheer for the guy. It's like, hey, listen, that could have been any one of us.
Well, Kyle Dubas, the general manager of Toronto,
he came to the podium and
he said he sounded like sour grapes. He said it was a no-win situation for the Toronto Maple Leafs because if they had won, then they're the team that beat up
back-
on
Oh,
a guy
please.
that's their employee and their employee helped them win.
Right.
Or now that we lost to the Zamboni driver, either way, it was going to make the Toronto Maple Leafs look bad. But this makes them look a lot worse.
Be like, screw you. You're a
Yeah.
professional hockey
Hockey
player,
player.
and
We're
you're
gonna
going
rain
to
on
give
some guy's
me
parade.
a
Like-
hard time. I clean ice. You
Right.
should have played better. Shut up.
So
Yeah.
I think also the players dug into their own pockets and chipped in for this guy as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how
Who are
much.
the Carolina guys?
Carolinas,
Or
they all took money
Yeah.
out of their own pockets and gave to which, listen, if the guy could get $5-10 grand out of this, that might be life changing for him.
it's not. But it's not even about money. What a complete honor. That's good.
No,
that's,
it
that's
is.
the story of a lifetime.
It's an absolute honor, but I'm just saying, like, how amazing would it be now? On top of that, you pay off your house, because
I don't
how
think they
much your
give him that
house
much
is-
money. I don't think
how
they
much
give
your
him that
house
much
is in
money.
Canada though.
That's true.
10 grand.
I don't know. What's
Thinking,
the
thinking you can buy a nice house in Canada
Yeah.
for
It's like
10 grand.
You get an elk.
you get some maple syrup and
Right. And don't forget the dollar to pound convert or whatever. What's in Canadian? I don't know, whatever it is.
Well, it's because they're still a part of the Commonwealth because they never even left England.
Right.
Yeah, get your own fucking country already.
Get your own
the queen
currency.
off your money. And you
Gosh.
want to talk to us about politics? All right.
Oh.
I had more to say.
Okay.
I don't remember everything. Oh, the Toronto fans are such salty jackasses about
Right.
this whole thing. He was taking shots again at the practice. He was in gear taking
the
shots
Marlies?
with the Toronto Maple Leafs in their practice.
Okay.
And I think Nylander stayed after practice and was like joking around with him, like because their practices are open.
Right.
People can go see them. I think it's on. I'm not sure if it's on the internet. Or not.
Nylander, another one that's making what, $6 million?
Tons of money, and he was just joking around with him after the thing, and now he was getting hate all over the internet
Because he's joking-
being nice to this
The
guy
who
and
beat
joking
him,
around
the
with this
Zamboni
guy.
guy. That's why Toronto fans suck.
Just venomous. They're the Ranger fans of
Right.
Canada.
Right.
You know.
I hate that.
Thanks for listening, Ranger fans.
It's a
Thank you,
it's
Maple
a
Leafs and
fantastic
Rangers.
story, though. It
It's
really
fa-
is.
it
a
is.
fantastic
It's
story.
gonna be a Disney movie.
Yeah, it should be a movie.
But that's
gonna
only that's only something that can happen in hockey. When a kicker gets hurt in football, they have the punter or the backup kicker. They have this. They have other guys that are able to do it. Same thing in
they
baseball.
don't have the guy who mows the lawn.
Right. They don't,
They don't have a
Suit up.
groundskeeper come in,
They
and
don't
all of a
have
sudden
that.
he's the long snapper.
They don't have it in baseball. They don't have it in basketball. They don't have. It's only can happen in hockey, and it did, and it's fantastic because it happened to the stupid Leafs, who stupid suck, and Tavares sucks, and that's that.
That's a great way to. I think that's a great way to end it.
That's a great way to end it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in on Comedians on Hockey. We will be back next week with Matt and myself, and hopefully a special guest and Sally. And